The No New Development Law, C-69, guarantees there will not be one-stop shop because it requires the Government of Canada to actually duplicate the same project.
Have no regulation.
Have one-stop shop.
Mr. Singh,
over any energy
we just got to let him finish his sentence. Let's just let him finish his sentence.
That is not true. In fact, Mr. Singh, the reality is we should have strong rules enforced once. We shouldn't have multiple levels of referral that it takes now 17 years to get a major project approved in this country. That is why in the last 10 years we've had the worst economic growth in the entire G7. We cannot afford a fourth liberal term.
I know it may be difficult, Mr. Poilievre. You spent years running against Justin Trudeau on the carbon tax, and they're both gone. Okay, they're both gone.
Wait. So first of all, again, Mark Carney is the leader of the Liberals, so it's not like you have no ties to them. It's not like you're your own person. You still have to follow the Liberals' agenda. Like that's the issue I have with what I hear from the Liberals, right? Like, oh, Mark Carney, everything's gonna be different. No, it's not gonna be different. He's still gonna be controlled by the Liberal Party. It's not like he can just freestyle everything. No. And I don't understand how people don't understand it. It's not like he's independent. No. Liberals would not elect someone who's gonna go against them, obviously, right? Why would you do that? And again, he was advisor to Justin Trudeau. So how can you say, oh, I'm not Justin Trudeau? Yes, you're not Justin Trudeau, but you're still liberal. You're still representing pretty much everything he did. It's ridiculous.
Pretty good impersonation of him with the same policies tonight.
Very different. Look, I'm a very different person from Justin Trudeau.
You say that you are a great crisis manager. Which one? I heard of nothing. As far as I know, Brexit happened, even if you were against it.
I asked how much would an industrial carbon tax on Canadian steel add to the price of a car. He won't answer because he knows that it will be very expensive because there's lots of steel in cars. Now, well, Mr. Carney has temporarily
do you know the answer?
hid in the...
Yeah, that's the most ridiculous thing. They mentioned it in the debate as well, right? But now the steel is facing the tariffs from President Trump, right? And Mark Carney is still keeping the industrial carbon tax, which affects the steel. So effectively, we have two taxes on the steel. Like, it's more expensive than it should be. And it's not just because of the President Trump, but it's because of the Mark Carney as well. And him saying that he canceled or abolished or whatever carbon tax. It's not even halfway through. First of all, he didn't get rid of it. He just made it zero for now. But it's still in the law. It's still the bill. He doesn't have to go through the parliament to restore it. And second thing is, he got rid of it or zeroed it for households, but not for the industry. So you're still not saving as much as you should, because there's still this ridiculous carbon tax that industry is paying. But guess what industry is doing? Making goods more expensive because they need to make up the money. So eventually, us, the consumers, are still paying carbon tax, even though it's hidden. It's just ridiculous.
In the
you don't know the answer either. You're just throwing out
thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars.
Making it up, though. You don't know.
And
oh my God, can this guy stop cutting everyone off? Like, everyone's so polite, leaving them speak, just judge me.
I'm sorry to crash your party, guys, but you are telling fairy tales. Clean oil and gas is a fairy tale.
Yeah,
I was born in Fort Smith in the Northwest Territories, just north of what the oil sands became. When I was born and when I was growing up in Edmonton, early days, it was a fairy tale, quote unquote. But you know what happened? Canadian ingenuity, Canadian engineers, Canadian governments, both the federal government and the Alberta government got together and converted this.
The worst pollution
if I
in
may,
the world.
If I may.
The worst pollution
may I finish?
in the
May I
world.
finish? May I finish?
1 week.
Oh my God, he's from Alberta and he's liberal. That's crazy. But again, like look at the air pollution rankings. Like Canada's number 100, I don't know now, 160 to 170. Like if we reach net zero, it's not gonna do much in the world. And another thing is, most of this reaching net zero includes moving manufacturing to the countries to the second world countries, right? Or third world countries, which, yes, eventually we're going to be having net zero, but we're still gonna, what's that word I'm looking for? Well, it doesn't matter. We're still gonna pretty much fund some other country polluting for us. And we're gonna have less jobs because of moving the manufacturing over there. It's just ridiculous, this race to net zero. And yeah, I definitely agree with. I'm sorry, I don't remember this gentleman's name. Let's call him the Quebec politician, or leader of the Quebec party. I agree with him. There's no clean oil, no clean gas, nothing. But with the regulations Canada has, it's definitely better than Middle East or something like that. And I really think we should start, like Pierre Poilievre says, unleash the resources, but it should go towards clean energy eventually. Like we should use the percentage of the money that we're gonna make as a country from oil, gas, LNG, all of that. We should use the percentage of it towards the nuclear energy, towards some other type of clean energy, right? Because right now it's paid from taxpayers' money, which is ridiculous. Like, first of all, you're never gonna build infrastructure for clean energy just from the taxpayers' money. Second of all, like with the amount of taxes we have, you might eventually build it, but you're not gonna have people who are gonna use it. It's just ridiculous, this race to net zero.
After the election, 1 week after the election, we all meet, whatever the result, and we start dealing with this crisis together, because this is what people, either they are from Alberta or Quebec or wherever, this is what people expect from us.
Mr. Carney, is that something you could get behind?
I look forward to meeting with everyone. You're welcome to come, Steve, if you'd like. Week after twice, but in all seriousness,
that's not very respectful.
No,
that's not very respectful.
I'm coming. On peut jaser un peu. Okay, I come to the core.
On jase.
Yeah, okay. I'll come to the core.
We need to get back to the Canadian tradition, which is that when people come to this country, they leave foreign conflicts behind. Yeah, the rampaging riots targeting Jewish communities is utterly unacceptable, and it points to the growing chaos that we see on our streets after 10 years of incredibly irresponsible liberal policies.
Your treatment of Palestinians has been frankly disgusting. Your treatment of people who provide care and service for people in Gaza has been disgusting. On top of that, people in Israel and in Palestine deserve to live in peace and security. And Mr. Carney, to date, you've not acknowledged that what's going on in Gaza is now clearly become a genocide.
Whoa, this highlight's kind of brutal. It's just going shoot. But yeah, I don't know. I think international policy should not be priority of Canada right now in this situation. The same like US. Like first you need to take care of your own. How do you want Canadians taxpayer to support all of these international things when they're not able to afford the food? Like first you need to take care of them. It's this is gonna sound ridiculous, but unfortunately that's how it feels right now during this liberal era. And I'm saying liberal era, but it's pretty much everywhere like this. I said it multiple times. I lived in multiple countries, talked to a lot of people from different countries. Everyone's complaining about government, right? But the difference we're facing right now is it's not just tightening your belt. Right now, what we are facing is a literal crisis. Like, you're afraid you're going to lose your house. You're afraid you're not going to be able to afford the food. And that's just bad government. But what I wanted to say is, like, this international conflicts and everything, you need to take care of your own. And it's going to sound ridiculous what I'm going to say. But just think about let's say you're a farmer, right? You're not going to abuse your cow. You're not going to malnourish her if you want her to continue giving milk, right? And that's pretty much what's going on right now. Like, we as a Canadians are so malnourished and so abused by this government through the taxes and everything else. How do you expect us to provide for this international conflicts, like for support of international conflicts, when you as a government are not taking care for us, right? Like, easy as that. Like, we're pretty much cash cow, but no one's taking care of us, so eventually we're gonna die off. And it's a ridiculous analogy, but that's what it is. Like, look at the taxes. We're paying 50% of taxes, and our life is not better at all. And we're supposed to send all of this money outside of Canada? Like, no, you need to take care of Canadians first. And if you take care of Canadians first, then they will be willing to support other countries in need. But right now, like, we can't afford our stuff. How can we help? And how is it fair to us? Like, to me, that's a treason. I'm sorry, that's a treason. You're dealing with Canadians' taxpayers' money and just sending it outside of the Canada instead of taking care of Canada first. And that's why I like Pierre Poilievre, because literally his motto or slogan or quote is Canada first. And I said it multiple times. Obviously, conservatives, politicians, right? Pierre Poilievre, politician. But the difference is, and people accuse me of being biased. Yes, I'm biased. I'm all in for conservatives. And here's the reason why. I understand that they're politicians. I understand that they're not going to fulfill 100% of their promises. But the difference is that with conservatives, all you have right now is promises. With liberals, you have experience. You have 10 years of experience. You can judge them based on their actions. So why should I listen to their promises when I see that what they did in those 10 years didn't help anyone? Like, that's the difference. You can tell me that I'm against liberals, and I am, because there's 10 years of data that proves that it's not good for Canada. Whatever he's going to promise to me, how can I trust him? He has the same PMs, it's the same party. He's just the new face, but other than that, he still has to follow the same rules like Justin Trudeau did, only because he's a member or leader of the Liberal Party. If he doesn't follow it, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he would be in this position if he went against Liberals? Obviously not.
Mr. Blanchet referenced earlier, which is have I resolved any crises? We're in Quebec. If you ask anyone in the finance industry, if you ask anyone in government in Quebec in 2008, they'll know that I resolved the biggest crisis in Quebec. Yeah,
you won't have fun.
Good, but
60 million.
Will you look at the camera in the eye and apologize to the many people who suffered as a result of the inflationary policies that you advised Justin Trudeau to implement?
You know, it's...
Let's see.
I said earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I know you want to be running against Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau isn't here.
Are you denying you were his economic advisor?
I did not provide any of that advice.
But when the government made this recent offer...
Okay, they cut the most important part about this. He is still on the liberal website as an advisor to Justin Trudeau. Like, there's a proof that he was economic advisor, and again, he lies about it. Just ridiculous.
Offer. They said that if I got the secret security clearance briefings, that I would be gagged under the security law, and I could be prosecuted if I spoke freely about matters of foreign interference. Now, given that Canada has experienced interference, if I spoke freely security clearance briefings, that I would be gagged under the security law, and I could be prosecuted.
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to do the closed captions for this.
Briefings, that I would be gagged under the security law, and I could be prosecuted if I spoke freely about matters of foreign interference. Now, given that Canada has experienced Chinese interference by Beijing, the government of China, in 2 consecutive elections, I needed to do my job to speak freely without fear of prosecution.
It has not.
I mean, that's a fair point, right? It's definitely a fair point, and we know freedom of speech over here is kind of getting downhill. And you heard the interview with Mark Carney when he actually full-on threatened the freedom of speech even more, when he said that the social media posts and everything needs to be more regulated. And it's like, we've been there during COVID. Like, how many of you posted something about the COVID and it got just deleted because of some fact checking and everything like that? Like, you couldn't even say your own opinion without government or Facebook getting in the middle of that, right? And yeah, so if, again, I'm not, I didn't look into it. I don't know if what Pierre Poilievre is saying, but if that's true, that's a good reason not to get that security clearance, especially since the Liberals are at the power and they have a history of going against the freedom of speech, right?
It's not stopped Mr. Blanchet or Mr. Singh at times during his campaign by making challenges with respect to these issues. So one can address it. I will observe, as someone with a top secret security clearance, that China is not the only country that is accused of foreign interference.
You'll notice we didn't have to change the time of this debate because the Leafs already clinched the Atlantic Division title, and therefore we didn't need to move the debate to accommodate a hockey game.
Okay, so what do I think about the debate? I'm not gonna lie. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Some of the points Mark Carney had were not the bad points. To me, I would need him to be a little bit more specific about what he means by changing the whole building process in Canada for the housing, right? That's kind of like, to me, that sounds kind of like, oh, we're going to make it better. I bet they have a plan, but you should be more specific. The ideas Liberals had, or Mark Carney mentioned, were very similar to what Pierre Poilievre has. But then at the same time, like when he's talking about pipelines, like Pierre Poilievre said, you still have the Bill C-69 that you refuse to revoke. How are you going to build more pipelines? How are you going to get through that? But anyway, let's take this all away, because it's not important what he's saying, what he's promising. The most important thing is that we had 3 Liberal terms. Why didn't they make Canada better? Like, why should we trust their promises? Why should we trust that out of nowhere it's going to get much better? And yes, you're going to say, oh, but Justin Trudeau's out, Mark Carney's in. Well, that doesn't change anything. He's still Liberal. He's still leader of the Liberal Party. He's still going to have the same PMs. His hands are tied. Like, he's not independent person. He's literally just the face of the party. Maybe he's able to put his input every now and then, but that's it. He's not going to be freestyling everything he wants. He still needs to follow the Liberals' agenda. And listening to all of these promises, it sounds nice, but you have data, you have experience with Liberals, and you know that they did not do it. And he had month and a half right now to make some difference, to give us faith or give us a reason to elect liberals to the fourth term. And he didn't do it. So why should we trust him that something's going to change if he gets elected again? Anyway, like I said, do your research, think about it, don't vote just for the color or for the person you think is sympathetic or whatever, right? Do your research. If you're happy with what was going on with Canada for past 10 years, vote for Liberals. If you want change, the only one who can provide you change is Conservatives. I'm not going to promise you it's going to get 100% better, but something's going to change, and we need, my opinion is that we need that change. Young families need that change. Our kids need that change. And even the seniors, like everyone needs something to change. So that's it for today, guys. For me, vote for change, vote for Conservatives, Canada first.